Boilermakers got back rolling again over the weekend, taking 3 of 4 games against Rutgers and in dramatic fashion against Arizona State as we head this weekend to Penn State. Kyle Charters with Ben Turner and Greg Goff, the head baseball coach, on This Week in Purdue Baseball, presented by Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Well, Coach, we went into the weekend riding a bit of a slump, but man, to be able to win 3 of 4 against the competition that we face this weekend, do so in dramatic fashion, particularly with C.J. Richmond's walk-off home run on the rare Monday game at Alexander Field. Just what a weekend, and you needed your team to right the ship, and it certainly did so.
It did. I was really proud of our guys. Carter Dorn gave us a great start, and then Mike came in on Friday. And again, as we talk about all the time, it's usually one pitch or one play or one at bat, and we were on the other side of that this weekend. They had an opportunity to score there in Friday, and we got a chance. And Avery Cook makes the big pitches and gets out of that thing, and then we win the game. So Saturday, same thing. We had another good start. Had a great start from Cole Van Assen, and gave us a really good start, and it got our offense going a little bit, and then we had a chance to finish that game out. And then on Sunday, Rutgers is really good. The arms that we saw this past weekend, a couple of guys will probably pitch in the big leagues one day. I mean, they are really good, and I'm really, really proud of how we came back and won a series against those guys.
And then you scheduled the game against Arizona State for Monday. The Sun Devils coming up from playing Cincinnati, and a Monday afternoon game, and you're short on arms, and you've already won the weekend series, and then you fall behind early in the game, and then fall behind again, and then fall behind again. Your team's, though, ability to rally from down 4-0, from down 5-4, from down 6-5, and then getting the game tied in the 9th inning and giving CJ an opportunity to win the game, and for him to do it in such dramatic fashion. I mean, what an awesome game. That was really an all-timer, I think, for Alexander Field.
There's no doubt, and I don't know if people really realize. I mean, the prestigious program that Arizona State has. They've won more national championships than most guys that we play, and the great players that's come through there. And they called and asked if we, wanted to, have them play on that Monday. It didn't take me I knew we were going to play a weekend series, but to have Arizona State come here and to play in front of our fans and to play here at home was just amazing. And, I think our guys, again, we didn't play very well early in that game. You can tell both teams were a little sluggish over the weekend, but, our guys just persevered through it and were resilient. And I just can't say enough about how they just did not quit. When we got into the 9th inning, after we gave up the lead, those guys were confident in each other. They believed in one another. And I just knew that those guys were going to get it done today.
I talked briefly with their radio guys before the game started, and the Arizona State guys were like, "Man, this is a nice place." Talking about Alexander Field, I'm like, "Yeah,
Yes.
people ask me a lot of times, where do you like calling games from?" I'm like, "Man, we got it made pretty good at Alexander. I mean, the field is great, the facility is great, the radio booths are awesome." But I think it's always cool when some of the teams that we are not used to seeing now, the UCLA's, the Arizona States, come here to the Midwest where they might have some preconceived notions about what Midwest baseball is all about.
Right.
For them to come and be like, "Yeah, this place is awesome," and then to then also be able to hand them a loss, I think is
it's all great.
Yeah,
it's all great and beautiful until you get beat.
Yeah.
But it is. We're so blessed to have a great facility, and just the fans have been awesome. I just can't say enough. It's a 1:00 game yesterday. We had almost 1,500 people there.
Yeah.
Just amazing, and just to see them get excited yesterday on that walk-off win was awesome, and just hopefully we can continue to build off of that.
What a great moment for C.J. Richmond, and it was a no-doubter. The wind was blown out toward right center, and he launched into that wind and helped him, 440. But Keenan Spence is who sets the stage. He'd been scuffling going into Sunday, back-to-back at-bats. He gets a game-tying hit, especially that double, man, backside on a full-count pitch.
Yes.
I mean, that was the biggest pitch of the game, really, even though C.J. ended it.
Right. There's no doubt, man. There was a lot, Logan had a 3-2 count to start the inning off, and, he gets the walk. He takes the walk, and then, Corbin Malott comes in, and we'd put him in for defensively, and I told him, hey, if Logan gets on, we're going to bunt here, and, man, what a great – and they crash. They run an aggressive bunt coverage, which – is pretty tough when you bring in both corner guys, and he was able to soften that bunt up and get the guy to second base. And then Keenan, just really, really happy for him. Guys worked really hard. Baseball's a hard game. I think people don't realize how tough it is. It's a lot easier sitting in those stands or, on the internet and all that type of stuff, or even in the coach's box. Sometimes I forget how hard it really is. And, he not, swung it very well. And for him to stay on it was a 3-2 slider that he hit to right center. Man, it was beautiful how he stayed on that ball and got Logan in. And then, CJ comes up and, gets a positive count, and they throw a fastball. And it was awesome to see him. Again, a guy that had, punched out a few times in the last 10 at-bats, and we talk about it all the time. You may win a few, you may lose a few of the battles, but let's win the war, and he won the war for us yesterday in that last at-bat.
Oftentimes, midweek play can be team baseball at its finest, and oh man, Monday was that. 21 Boilermakers saw action in that game, 6 pitchers, 15 position players. I know it can be stressful for you, but
it's
in
fun
terms
for
of
us.
everybody having a piece in it, I mean, that's what you talk about. It's a team sport.
It is.
It has its individual elements, and ultimately it's batter versus pitcher. But all 21 Boilermakers contributed to that win.
They did, and I tell them all the time. I mean, the hardest thing I have to do is make a lineup out and do all those types of things. Hey, I'm here to win. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I told them this on Sunday after the game. Like, my mom used to tell me all the time, don't get bitter, get better. And so, our guys have did a great job of not getting bitter and just keep working. And I think the game rewards you when you do those types of things, Ben. And I think we've had such great attitudes with our guys. They're all important. Like yesterday, they're all important. Everybody that's in that dugout has a role, and they're valued. And we got to continue to keep that mindset, because you saw yesterday, Corbin comes off and gets the bunt. Eli goes in. Brandon goes in. I mean, everybody just made a huge contribution, and we don't get that win yesterday if it wasn't for everybody contributing.
Yeah, I love the strategy involved in baseball. I think that's one of the biggest attractions to the sport, probably is for you too, though it's a little bit more stressful in games like Mondays. But to be able to get the guys in the right spot, and sometimes you miss, but you try to hit as many as you can. One that hit yesterday that we haven't talked a lot about is Breck Nowick playing pinch hitting. Coming through with a big hit to get the game tied, then making a great play at second base of all places. We know that he plays first. I think he's dabbled a little bit in outfield, played maybe a little bit of third base early in his career at UIC. But we saw him out there at second base, and he makes a great play. But, that's one that works out. And what a luxury it is for you to have a guy like Nowick on your bench who has that experience. Has played a lot of baseball. Circumstances have led him maybe to not getting as many at-bats, but when he gets the opportunity, he came through for you.
He does, and what a great guy, Breck is. And again, I just felt like that in that situation, I felt like the game was on the line right there. And, Ty was up to bat, and just the numbers. We play the numbers a lot in baseball, and so, the numbers said, Ty wasn't really good against left-handed pitching, and so I just felt like, although, Ty's our starting second base, I felt like we needed to make a move there. And Breck had been working at second base and kind of been waiting for his opportunity, to be honest with you. And I think you earned those things, and came up with a big double there to tie the game up. And then, goes out, the ball goes underneath Logan's glove. And then there's Breck to make the play. And then, of course, Ennis, again, he hadn't pitched in a couple of weeks or whatever. And he, he's so athletic and gets over and makes that play. I mean, I don't know if a lot of pitchers can make that play. And all those things, I think, again, if you don't work hard and don't have a pure heart and you're not prepared, those things don't happen. I think those guys have been working hard. They have waited their turns. And then I thought the game rewarded them yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on and on about Monday's game, but a lot coming in. He doesn't get very many at-bats laying down that bunt, as you mentioned earlier. That's a hard thing. It looks easy. That's a hard thing to do. Another hard thing to do is, as you mentioned earlier, CVA's performance on Saturday. Big spot. You need a win. Yep. He comes through with his best performance as a Boilermaker in a couple of years as a starting pitcher. It was really good. I mean, he comes in, gets career high 7 strikeouts. He's been solid lately.
He's been solid, and again, we had to push him up, right? Easton Story goes down with an arm injury. I think people don't really realize. Lucas Cook, our starting shortstop. He was out after Friday. This team is so resilient, guys. I just can't say enough about. The next guy up mentality, and for CVA to be pushed up and then to strike out that many guys. I mean, Rutgers is one of the toughest teams in the league, if not the toughest team in the league to strike out. And that tells you how good his stuff was. And again, he's had some ups and downs, and then just really, just stayed the course and been convicted about what we're doing. And again, I think he was really awesome on Saturday.
It was a series where Friday proved to be the rubber game in my eyes because of how tight that was Friday. Saturday your team took the lead early and played with it.
Right.
Sunday it was Rutgers that took the lead and played with it.
Right.
So sometimes it plays out that way where the first game of the series is what decides the series.
Sure.
And it also shows the importance of winning on Fridays.
Right.
And you've been able to win on Fridays at times because of Michael Vallone, and he was there for you yet again.
I think people don't really realize what Mike has done for us. Carter did a great job for us on Friday. That's a big deal to start on Fridays, and he's did a good job and kept the games where they needed to be as a starting pitcher. But to have Mike to be able to bounce right off of him and piggyback off of him and to come in and give us 3 to 4 innings so we can get to Avery, it's just been a really good combination for us, Ben, and just can't say enough about Mike Vallone. And not only what he does on the mound, but if you're just around our dugout or just hear our dugout or just watch a little bit of our dugout, I mean, he is so intense in the dugout when he's not pitching. He's such a great teammate for our players and for our program. He is I just can't say enough about what a winner he is and how much of a difference he's made in our program in just 1 year.
Yeah, the most consistent man out there on the pitching staff all season, and what a blessing he's really been as a newcomer this year.
Yes.
Penn State up next. First year we've seen them. We haven't seen them in a couple of years. It feels like. I haven't gone to their place since 22. New regime.
Yep.
Mike Gambino comes down from Boston College. Year 2 under him after they make the Big Ten tournament title game last year as the 8th seed.
Right.
They seem like they're building.
They are.
They are a different animal right now.
They are. Mike does a great job. He did a great job at Boston College, and then the athletic director and their relationship, brought him to Penn State. So they're really good. They're as good. Again, you look at our league. I think you see UCLA and kind of Iowa kind of going up to the top, but I think in Oregon. But other than that, I mean, I think you got a bunch of teams. It's really amazing how this league has really gotten better and so many. I think you can't take a weekend off. Anybody can beat you, and especially on the road. So it will be a great challenge for us. But I know our guys are excited about getting on that plane and getting over there on Friday.
Yeah, a couple weekends away from home here in a row. Momentum can be a difficult thing in baseball because there's so much changes from game to game. But you got to try and keep it up here for the next couple of road trips. It's going to go a long way to determining where you are come Big Ten tournament time.
There's no doubt. And what a great way to start this week with a walk-off. And having Big CJ come in here today is awesome. So couldn't have to a better guy.
We'll talk to CJ here in just a moment on the show. Thank you, Coach.
Right.
Looking forward to the weekend. All right, let's take a break. We'll bring in CJ Richmond. We'll do that coming up next on This Week in Purdue Baseball.
Play championship golf at the Burke Boilermaker Golf Complex. Enjoy great food and great drinks at the new Pete Dye Clubhouse. And shop official Purdue gear at the Purdue Pro Shop. Experience it all now at PurdueGolf.com.
Let's welcome in CJ Richmond on This Week in Purdue Baseball after his dramatics on Monday, the walk-off home run against Arizona State. What a performance that was. A lot of heroes in that game. You cap it off with the last heroic performance, the home run to give you guys the victory. I guess, what did you see in that at-bat? And as soon as you hit it, you knew it was launched, and I think you knew it was out of the ballpark. Take us through the whole at-bat there.
So I know coming into that bat with a base open, I'm probably not going to get a fastball early. So I'm looking for either a hand breaking ball, which I didn't get because he put 3 breaking balls in a row, 2 for balls, 1 for a strike. And I knew kind of at that point he didn't have a great feel for it. And I was probably going to hunt something in the middle of the zone. And I knew it was 92, 94 miles an hour, something I could handle. And I got to it. I got in the spot I could really do some damage, and I didn't miss it.
You certainly did some damage. We looked at TrackMan afterward. It was middle at 92, exactly where you were looking, and you gave it a ride. Your first ever walk-off home run.
Yes.
You celebrated a little bit, and then eventually ran toward first base. But you have to get your money's worth, right? Take me through that part of it, just, that moment when you realize this ball's gone and I've won the baseball game, and you get a chance to do a little bit of a celebration before you take off for first.
Yeah, it's one of those blackout moments, like you hit it, see it go up, and it's like, oh, wow, that's going pretty far. And it was cool. And, I don't want to show anybody up on the baseball field anytime I celebrate, but when that moment happens, I'm just really excited for my team and the guys, and we were able to get that big win. So that's why all that emotion came out like that.
Yeah.
you were the fourth batter of the inning, and you got to see it build the way it did from the dugout. And your roommates or crew, whatever you want to call them, had such a big part in setting that stage for you. Logan Sutter, the leadoff single, Keenan Spence, the game-tying double, what Breck did off the bench in that game with the pinch hit double and then playing second base. It just more evidence that Monday was truly a great team win, and you highlighted that post-game in the interview on Big Ten Plus yesterday, that was most important to you, that you did it for the team, it felt like. You would echo that today, I assume.
Yes, for sure. I mean, I'm really tight with that group of guys. And it was great to see Brett come off the bench and make an immediate impact. And then Sutter does what he does. He's having a fantastic year. And then Spence get going after he's been scuffling a little bit. It was just great to see.
Yeah, Keenan did have a huge part in that game with game-tying hits and back-to-back at-bats. And, yeah, he was in a slump. I don't think anybody would deny that. And so for the last 2 days, to have 6 hits over 2 days, good to see him break out of that as someone that hits in the middle of the lineup with you. You guys can feed off each other, and you did that just yesterday.
Yeah, for sure. Keenan brings great energy to the lineup, and when he's going good, he's probably one of the best hitters in the country and has the most raw power I've ever played with. So it's great to have him back rolling.
You had a big year last year at Western Michigan. You transferred here to Purdue to get closer to your Indianapolis home. You wanted to make a big splash, I'm sure, this spring, and then you have the injury. The broke hamate takes basically you miss all of March. What was that like? It's such a weird, random injury to suffer, though it does happen a lot at this level to baseball players, certainly. But to miss a whole month and just have to sort of rehab and wait. What was that like? And then be able to make the impact that you have since you've returned, I'm sure has helped to alleviate some of that a little bit.
It was definitely tough. It sucked to be out and miss the Sparta Conference play. We missed Minnesota, UIC, and then I missed UCLA and Michigan as well. And those are series that I really just want to be a part of, to be with the team. And just having to be away from the guys was really tough for me for a little bit. But now that I'm back, I really appreciate the energy that the team gives me. It helps me when I'm back in the dugout, making the rehab so much easier.
You feel like you're in a pretty good rhythm now. I think you have 3 home runs, maybe 4 home runs since you've returned to the lineup. One of them was at Washington in the rain. Ball hit about 3/4 of the way up the batter's eye to straightaway center. You had the 440-foot walk-off home run on Monday. You've gotten your money's worth a couple of times now on the long ball. Do you feel like you're, after the injury, starting to feel like you're seeing the baseball pretty well?
Yeah, it definitely took a couple of bats, but now I'm starting to feel like I'm getting my stride back, hitting the groove.
As somebody who grew up in Indy, played at Park Tudor, played for the Indiana Nitro, among other teams, I'm sure, did you kind of always aim to get to this power level of college baseball? There's steps along the way. Was this the goal to play in state or at Big Ten, SEC, ACC level? How did that all go?
My thought process in high school was, as I was coming into college, I just need to go somewhere where I can play and develop as a player. And I think I did that. I went to a junior college first, then a smaller Division I. I was able to get to this level. But I think as me playing and developing, it helped me earn the opportunities to get to this level. But obviously, who wouldn't want to come play for me? This is a great university and having a great time here.
And the success that you guys had at Western Michigan last year, to reach a regional, to win the MAC tournament, to be all region, not just all conference, but all region, spoke to, what you did throughout the course of that junior season, and then decided to go ahead and come even closer to home for the final year.
Yeah, that was a really fun year with Western Michigan. I love those guys still. We still hang out and talk all the time. And whenever you win a conference championship, you're going to be really close as a team. And, some of those guys will be at my wedding.
Cool, that's good to hear. And so every year was kind of a new challenge for you, and next year we probably will have the same at some level of pro ball. So in some ways, maybe you were preparing yourself for that move, to the next level all along.
Yeah, I think even in high school, I always knew that I had a shot maybe to play professional baseball and get paid to play. So I think along the career, I kind of saw the arc and I was like, all right, I'm going to set myself up for the highest level, get myself the most challenges early. That way I'm ready for when the time comes.
You guys won 3 of 4 over the weekend, 2 of 3 obviously against Rutgers to get the thing headed back in the right direction again. What do you think went well? You won some close games this weekend. During the losing streak, you have lost some close games. In baseball, sometimes the ball just finally bounces back your way a little bit, but oftentimes you have to make that happen. What do you feel like went well for you over the weekend?
This weekend, I feel like we really hit when it mattered. A lot of times in the losing streak we had, we did bases loaded, runners on second and third, and we wouldn't be able to come up with a big hit right there. And this weekend we made it happen a couple different times. And as well as the pitching staff's really stepped up for us, even throughout the losing streak. They've given us a shot in a lot of games that maybe earlier in the year you don't stay around for that long.
Right.
Carter Dorn told us early on this season that he had faced you back in high school, and then to see you again this fall, considering your development, that he was impressed by it, and he saluted how far you'd come in the last 4 years. I assume you and Ennis have some history too from the Indy area. Pitchers can be a good judge of that development. So when I tell you that story about what Dorn had said, does that make you feel like, hey, that the work I put in has paid off, and I am a completely different hitter than when I was going into the college experience?
Yeah, I mean, Dorn saw me last my senior year of high school, and to hear that he, considered development and appreciates the work I've done is really, makes me feel good. And I can see the growth in him as well from senior year to now as a senior in college. I mean, it's a totally different guy.
We like to ask the hitters this: who's kind of a tough matchup for you on the staff?
I want to say nobody, but I'd say Chris Gallagher. Yeah.
Another.
Yeah.
Did you face him in high school?
We grew up playing Little League baseball together.
Okay.
We were friends from probably 8 years old on, and he went to Cathedral, which was in our little region of private schools. So I did face him a couple times.
Sure. Was he always a sidearmer like that?
He would throw sidearm and over the top. So whatever made you feel uncomfortable is what he was doing.
Wow. Talk about flexible and changing it up. All right, we like to learn more about you, CJ, with our personal preferences segment. There are no wrong answers, as I like to say, but we have you pick a number. We're between 1 and 14 this week.
Let's go 8.
8. Favorite outdoor activity?
Oh, fishing, for sure.
Asked and answered. What do you have a kind of fishing that you prefer, or type of fish that you like to catch?
We typically do bass fishing. It's a little more fast-paced.
Okay. On lakes in Indiana?
Lakes, ponds, puddles, wherever there's a body of water, I'll fish it.
All right. Between 1 and, actually, let's go 13. Don't pick 8.
2.
2. Professional team you enjoy rooting against? Your rival, so to speak.
Oh, the Bears.
The Bears. Okay.
Yeah. And too many Chicago fans in this area.
Fair enough.
Including the one sitting right there.
Fair enough. Does that make you a Colts fan?
I would say yes.
Now, you do have a unique professional allegiance, baseball at least, that I'm aware of. I think the Blue Jays, correct? How did that come to be?
Back when it was Troy Tulowitzki, Edwin Encarnacion, Jose Bautista were all on the Blue Jays, and I just remember seeing my first baseball memory was the Jose Bautista bat flip.
Okay.
And that sealed it for me right there.
Yeah, that was they had quite the run there in the mid-teens. Those were some good Blue Jays teams, really, since they're the best team since the World Series in the early 90s that Kyle and I can remember pretty fondly. All right, last one here. We'll go between 3 and 13. Don't pick 8.
6.
6. Band or musical artist you'd love to see play Purdue?
Yeah, I was listening to them on the way in today. I would probably say Green Day.
Green Day.
Wow.
Okay. Where would you have Green Day play on campus?
Ooh. Just put them right in Mollenkoff. Why not?
In Mountain Golf. All right.
go.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Did not expect. That's why we ask
No.
these questions on This Week in Purdue Baseball.
So Penn State this weekend, a couple of weekends now on the road consecutively. You guys will have to find a way to keep it up against a good Nittany Lions squad. What do you guys have to do to get it done?
I just got to play our brand of baseball. Hit when it matters, make big pitches, run the bases well, play hard, play tough. When we play our brand of baseball, there's not a team in this conference that can really hang with us, in my opinion.
Yeah. Sounds good. Will be a big weekend in Happy Valley. Looking forward to seeing you guys get out there and get a couple more victories. All right, that'll do it for this week. Back with the podcast again next week as we look ahead toward the second half of the Big Ten. For CJ Richmond, Greg Goff, and Ben Turner, I'm Kyle Charters.